Welcome, I'm the Deadwood Jedi. This is the Raid Shadow Legends video, and this is part 2 of this, gear set series, I guess, between me and Scratch. We're going over all the different pieces of gear. In part 1, we went over all the gear pieces from the dungeons. In part 2, today, we're going over all the pieces from the Forge. Now, in case you're wondering, yes, this is a scheduled video. We filmed this a few days back. I'm out of town on vacation. If you guys want to kind of keep up to date with what's going on with me, follow me on Twitter. I'm going to try to have updates posted every day or so while I'm out of town. So I've probably already posted a couple by the time you see this. But I do have some videos coming out over this next week while I'm out of town. So make sure to keep watching the channel because there are going to be some videos coming out for you guys. This was super good. As always, when it comes to gear, no matter how bad the set is, if the piece is good, it's worth keeping. So just kind of keep that in mind. But obviously some sets are better than others. In this one, we're going to go over a lot more about the Forge sets, the ones you want to, craft from the Forge, also the ones you want to farm in the Doom Tower. I think that's really important as well to know which sets in the Doom Tower are going to be most beneficial for you. So this is a super cool video. I really appreciate Scratch for coming on and helping me with it. And let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so we're talking about the Forge gear. So we covered all the sets in the dungeons that you guys go and farm every day, and now we're talking about the sets that you get from the Forge, which are incredibly valuable. These are 100%. I would say each one of these or just about each one of these is an upgrade over what we can farm in the regular dungeon. So definitely this is the stuff that you want to get where you can. Depending on where your count is, some of this will be more available than other stuff. But, the best part about this is most of this gear is available pretty early on. It doesn't take energy to find it and create it and stuff. So Scratch, thank you for sticking around and doing this part with me. Let's talk a little bit now. I think we're going to start off. We're just going to go in order here, but this first set, Swift Parry, is something that I have very little of because I just am not an arena maniac and I don't finish in plat hardly ever. So you have a lot more experience with this set. Why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about it? What kind of champions you put it on, where you like to use it, and how valuable it is. And while you're doing that, I'll just go ahead and forge a couple things here so I can try and catch up to where you're at here in this, if I can.
I might get, yeah. So I can tell you, Swift Parry equals cancer in arena. Okay, so it's the most annoying set out there, man. because that RNG, like before, a team that's supposed to be doomed and lose was gonna lose, right? But now it has the chance of actually winning, regardless if the team is actually deserving to win or not. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of RNG with the team. This set is a very powerful set, not only because of that unkillable buff, 50% chance, right? But crit damage and speed, right? I can't remember fully. It's 20% crit damage and 18% speed. Or
30% crit damage, 18% speed. Now, it is a 4-piece set. So, it's not 2-piece sets that you're getting this out of, but that's still pretty ridiculously good.
Crazy stats, guys. So what's going to happen? You can use it on tanky champions, you can use it on attack champions, you can use it on speed. So, disclaimer, not my own Sifi, guys, so don't be hating on me. The fastest Swift Parry Sifi that I've seen is currently at 390 speed.
Yeah.
On Swift Parry. That's how crazy this set it is, okay? It's insane, honestly. It's super hard to get, though.
Yeah, I can't even approach those numbers with not in Swift Parry, not to mention with Swift Parry. You're right though. Like everything Scratch said is 100% on point. The unkillable thing popping up is just the most frustrating thing when you think you have a team down and all of a sudden now you can't kill them, especially with these tanky teams that are out there where it's taking you, 5 minutes to even get them close to killing. And then all of a sudden Swift Parry procs and you're like, why? No, it's a very frustrating thing. Unfortunately. Exactly. So get it and hate it. Hate yourself for getting it, but get it because you need it. And that takes us to the Deflection set, which I find very interesting as a set. I don't build any of it. I don't use any of it, but it's never appeared to me to be a set that would be valuable. 20% HP, 20% defense. That's pretty akin to what you would get from two-piece sets. So I didn't really find that as a 4-piece set to be very valuable. The 25% chance to deflect a debuff onto the attacker is nice. But that's always something that can be a little bit countered as well if you have, block debuffs up or something else. But this is another, to my understanding, another arena set that just doesn't get used very much. Is that about right?
Yeah, so literally it's pretty useless because of the low chance of transferring the debuff, right? 25% chance is just not cutting it to be part of an arena thing. And you gotta consider that a lot of debuffs can come in play there as well, right? So it's not as good. But for the new bomb boss, it's actually good to use it because it's the only thing that can actually deflect the bombs back on the boss, right? No champions like Hellier and the rest, they cannot transfer the bombs back, but Deflection set can actually do it,
That's very true. Very good point. And that takes us to resilience. And this is pretty, I don't farm this. I don't build this very much. I have quite a few pieces there, but this is something that is a pretty useful set piece, I would say. 10% HP, 10% defense. Those are things that most champions can use, I would say.
Especially that is a 2-piece set. Yeah, definitely. I like the set. I'm not going crazy after it. I'm keeping the decent pieces. I do have a Duchess build with one of these sets, right? Because I got the right boots, I got the right gauntlets, and I find it so hard to get all the right stats on the bottom pieces, right? So the Forge, man, I love the Forge. I think it's the best feature they've ever brought in the game, honestly. Getting free gear without spending energy and gems on it, guys. I know it's a bit more time consuming. It takes longer to put your hand on gear, but on my 50-day old free-to-play account, I have some nasty pieces from the Forge that, wow, got tier pieces. So definitely game-changing.
It's game-changing. It is. And it's the easiest way to make silver. I think I've made, $500,000 silver in these few minutes here because cost 10,000. I sell it for a lot more, which I think this next set is probably the most used set in the game at the moment. And I would say the most valuable for people to get is perception set, especially for an early game. The earlier the game it is, the better this is for you. But we're talking 40% accuracy and 5% speed. There's not any champion that uses debuffs that can't use this. Super valuable.
Definitely. Absolutely. Like it kind of eight on a accuracy gear. It is a great set all around. You get the speed, you get the accuracy, very essential early on, mid game, late game. You're always gonna need them. So perception, go for it.
100%. That he said it. He nailed it. There's nothing else to add. Which takes us to the worst set. This might be the worst set in the game. Talking about worst sets, there are Affinity Breaker. How do you feel about this one?
I never used it. I never even forged the pieces. Or if I forged them, I just click sell, just for a CVC. I think I can't remember.
You mean like this? Click sell. Yeah, I feel you on that.
The way it calculates it is just not working. But that's a good piece. Speed, crit rate, crit damage resistance. I think you're gonna keep that one.
You have to keep it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's the worst set in the game. It's the best piece in the game. More or less.
100%. Like, yeah, he's got it 100%. If it doesn't matter how good the piece is, what kind of set it is, if it's a good piece, it's a good piece. Yeah,
broken sets are still ruling.
They are. But I mean, I feel like if they made this chance for a weak hit to be a crit hit, all of a sudden this piece would be really good. If that was like 100% chance, I wouldn't even care about the crit damage. If they made that 100% chance to turn a weak hit into a crit hit, all of a sudden this set has a place in the game. Even if they made that, I would say like a 75% chance or something really good. But 20% is it's not enough to make it anywhere close to valuable to use,
Not at all, actually.
What did you say?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How do you feel about Untouchable? I mean, obviously, this is an immunity set, right? So it already has a very good place in the game. Immunity gear is wonderful, but it also gives you that extra resistance, which I don't know about you, Scratch, but I kind of find that intriguing. If you can build a high resistance immunity champion, that's a wonderful thing. But also a bit of a challenge to make happen.
it is a challenge, but it's still a very powerful set, especially that we can actually farm it from the Doom Tower rather than from the Fire Knight.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 4-piece set, of course, but it's a very powerful set. So if you're building high resistance champions and you want them on immunity, and probably a lot of you guys will be like, these guys, what are these guys on? What are they talking about? Immunity and high resistance? Why? Why would they do such a thing? Well,
Right.
let me tell you that, guys. All the CC sets in the game, like the stun set, we have the sleep set, provoke set, poison set, toxic set. All those, they require 0 accuracy, right? So because they require 0 accuracy, no matter how much resistance I'm going to have on my champion, they're still going to get debuffed, right? So you want to have immunity to make sure that's not happening. And it's the lovely 3% chance of RNG in the game to get debuffed, right? So that comes in play as well, which is pretty bad as well. So that's why you want to have immunity and resistance on the same champion. And they do go hand in hand, like creme de la creme, how Jedi just said it.
It's always nice, because there's a lot of champions that'll put stuff up without any chance to resist. They automatically place it, and that's what's going to keep you alive from it. And 2 turns, that's what you need in arena. So 100% with you. Takes us to the fatal set. I really, when these new sets came out, this was the one I was like, oh, that's the one I'm going to farm, because I was really lacking in damage gear. I was clan boss focused, so I didn't have any attack built gear for my champions or anything like that. I really like this set. I've stopped farming it. I actually farm the untouchable set mostly now. But what are your thoughts on this? Especially let's compare this to say like a cruel set where you're getting the same attack percentage, where cruel gives you, ignore defense for like 5% or something like this. This gives you an extra crit rate.
I like both, honestly. Like, it's not a set that I'm going to farm on. I'm not intentionally farming the boss, especially on my main account. On the free-to-play account, that's actually what I'm going to farm on whatever the boss is on, because that's what I'm lacking early on. I don't need the immunity set from the Scarab. It takes me longer time to farm. I don't have the time to stay and farm 15 minutes every single run, multiply with 15 times a day. So I'm going for the Magma Dragon, easier to kill. I'm getting that, and it's attack and crit rate. Early on, I'll be struggling a lot to get my crit rate up. It's definitely a great set early on, mid game, and even in end game you can use it because it's a 2-piece set. So if you don't have the craziest gear, you can make the craziest gear from the actual fort. So go and do it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think it's actually really, really useful. And when you can, it's definitely worth forging. We were talking about Frost before, and this Frostbite set is to me just ridiculously fun. I'm still waiting for the right champion to build this on, but I feel like this is such a nice set, especially for arena, with this 15% chance to block freeze debuffs, and then a 10% chance to place freeze debuffs, and it stacks with each 2-piece that you put on. So that means you can get up to a 45% chance to block freeze and a 30% chance to place freeze. I just absolutely love this set.
It is a very solid set indeed, yeah. Definitely. I'm not going and farming it, right? Because I have so much immunity. I'm not really worrying too much about freeze in arena. And there are not that many Torbins overall. There are plenty of Torbins out there, but not at the level where I play in arena, So honestly, I'm not that worried about freeze, but it's definitely a very fun set and a very well-designed set, to say like this,
I agree. I feel like there's, it's basically a Torment counter, and I think that works really well for, just general champions that you might have as you're going through. Which this is one of those sets. This next one, Bloodthirst. I think this is probably I really did not like the Affinity Breaker, right? That's my least favorite one out of all of these. But the Bloodthirst is another set that I have absolutely zero need to farm. I don't think anybody should waste their time farming, and I feel like it's a complete waste for the stage in the game in which this becomes available. Can
I drop it now? What is that set even doing? Because I don't remember.
So I think this is actually a good set to have in the game, right? I think this is definitely an improvement over Lifesteal. And
the lifesteal, yeah, got you.
It's like you heal based off the damage and you get crit rate. Like, this is wonderful. I just don't understand why this is in the Doom Tower because by the time you're in the Doom Tower, you don't need lifesteal gear, you know?
That's the only problem, yeah.
So I don't get it myself, but I mean, I'm taking it you don't either, because it sounds like you haven't farmed any of this yourself.
No, never. Like, honestly, I'm not using lifesteal for a long time, so I'm only getting it when I kill the boss, you know, on moving on the floors. But I'm not farming this, and probably never will. Yeah.
Same.
But it's still a good. It's a much better set than lifesteal, you know.
I did a takeover and somebody had like enough pieces to equip a champion or two in this, and I was like, yeah, this is good. It's a quality set. It's better than lifesteal, like hands down, quite better than lifesteal. And better than crit rate, right? Like it's almost as good as crit rate set, but like it's very good. It's just, you know, at the point that you're farming it, you don't need it is the problem.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then we have Guardian set. Guardian set is some might say broken. Very, very good, I think would be the other way to phrase that. But this is super good, I think, in all areas of the game at this point, no?
Yeah, Guardian is a very powerful set. Powerful for clan boss, powerful for arena, powerful for everywhere where you wanna tank a bit for your champions, you know. So definitely a very powerful set overall. My opinion on it.
It's basically, you know, ally protection in a buff, right? So nice and simple. You know, it's only 10%, but I mean, for a champion that wouldn't normally do that, it becomes incredibly valuable. Put it on Ursuga. You can even put it on like somebody like a Duchess or, you know, a Vogoth is a great champion for that type of thing, but it helps keep your other champions alive. Really, really effective. And then we have the two new sets, the two latest ones in the Doom Tower. We got the Fortitude coming from Baumel, this resistance and defense buff. And then we have the Lethal coming from, what Astralix or whatever her name is.
Dark Fae.
Yeah, which is, you know, that's a crit rate and ignore defense. So these are both interesting ones, right? The Fortitude is basically the resilience set, but even better because you're getting the defense buff, 2-piece set, which is really nice. And then we have the Lethal, which is basically like Savage, but better because you're getting the crit rate buff on top of that. So Fortitude, what's your take? Obviously, we can't farm Baumel very effectively right now, but what's your take on this set? Is this something that's going to be worth, if we can build a farm team, is this something worth farming?
Yeah, man, the only problem is in the next way, right? So I have 4 bosses that I want to farm them non-stop. Okay, I want to farm the... I want to farm these two, the two new bosses. I want to farm for immunity. I want to farm for the Guardian set. So I want to farm all these bosses that are in this rotation. So yeah, I want them split around somehow. They gotta make another rotation, right? Where the 2 new bosses are in with the other 2, or they're mixing them up somehow. Because like this, we're gonna have to wait like 3 months to farm these bosses, right? And that's not good. So they gotta mix it up a bit somehow, and I want them all these sets. Like this is what I'm farming all the time. The higher the floor, that's what I'm gonna go for because I'll be getting more pieces. You know. Yeah. Now I'm farming the Dark Fae, but definitely I would farm the Bomb Dude as well, 100%.
Yeah, the abilities here, the stuff. I'm like, I hadn't rolled any of this stuff. All this stuff, I'm like, yeah, I can keep that. Oh, I could use that. I can use that somewhere. Like being able to have that extra resistance and adding the defense on top of that is just, you know, it's always going to be something that's going to be useful in this game. So that's a great one. And then the Lethal one, is this going to be your go-to from now on? I mean, getting those savage pieces with crit rate. I don't know if there's anything better than that as far as building your champions goes out. So.
I will go for them. It will take a while to get the perfect rolls and stuff that you're looking for if you're not super lucky, but my Savage gear is kind of it's not great, honestly. I feel like out of all the top high tier sets, Savage is the one that's lacking the most on my account. Okay. Mm-hmm. So definitely this will be the thing to go for, you know, for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely lacking on Savage as well. I have 2 champions geared out in it. I've got my Trenda and I've got my what's his name? Oh God, what's his name? Defensive nuker. Solus, my Solus.
Yeah, I have a Magnar. I have Solus. I have 2 Trandas. I have Royal Guards, Cold Heart, Septimus. I have quite a few on Savage, but it's not like God tier gear. It doesn't have the stats substats that I would want to see on a gear that I call top tier, god tier gear.
Exactly. All right, so look, we've covered all the gear except for except for Immortal, except for Cruel, which we both know we get from the clan boss. Those are pieces that people are getting every day pretty much. You know how that works. My question before we sign off, before we call this, what pieces do you think is the most, like, people are out there, what's the thing that we should be farming the Doom Tower for? Obviously, every rotation is going to change what you're going to be doing, but what are the pieces that you're saying, hey, these are the ones I want to farm if it's available?
So, honestly, if the Savage is available, I would go for that, right?
Okay.
If
so
Savage is not available,
number one.
If that's not available, I would kind of lean towards Guardian and Immunity. I'll be like, which one should I get? And then I would leave the Resistance as last, right? But you gotta think like that. If the one you want to farm is on floor 80, 70, 90, this rotation, the one that you might want to farm more is on there. But then on 120 is the other one that's you want to farm a bit less. Resistance instead of Immunity. I would go for 120 because you get way more materials from it, I think, So
that makes sense.
Maximize your profit, basically,
I mean, look, these are all going to be useful. It's just like the dungeons, right? We don't just farm Dragon. We farm Dragon and Fire Knight and Ice Golem and, everything else because we need, some variety in the gear that we have. And I think it's going to be the same here with the Doom Tower, or at least, that should be the goal, right? But I think you're right. I actually am exactly the same on what I should farm, just like you. I think the Savage gear, the lethal stuff is going to be the most beneficial. The Immunity would be next. And then you're talking the Fortitude and the Guardian gear seems to be the most useful stuff. The Frost stuff is very fun. It's just not as, as viable everywhere, right? I think I don't know where to use it. It just sounds fun. I want to use it. I don't know where yet. When Pixie gets a buff, maybe I'll equip her in that and then we'll call it a day, but that's pretty much it. Well, hey man, thank you so much for coming on today. This was awesome. Actually, for the last 2 days, I guess, really. But thank you so much for being here and going over all this stuff. I know it took a lot of time out of your day. You're a busy guy, and I really appreciate that. So thank you, man.
Anytime, brother. A pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure, please go follow Skratch. You got to check him out. He puts out amazing content. If I was going to ask anybody for advice on Clan Boss, Skratch is the number one person I go to. I respect his opinions on that as much or more than every other content creator out there. He's really top tier when it comes to that. And that's only a fraction of the stuff he does. He's really all over the game. So make sure to go give him a subscription. I'll have links to his stuff down in the comment description of the video. Thank you again for coming out, man. And till next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi. Major thanks to Skratch again for coming on this channel and helping me out with a couple videos. This is super fun and very informative, and I feel like it's going to be really valuable for you guys. Hopefully you find that as well. That's all we got for today, guys. Follow me on Twitter. I'm going to be posting some updates. Should be fun. And stay tuned. We got more stuff coming out on the channel. And until next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.